Hello, everyone. I am Claudiu Murgan, the host of the Spiritual Inspired podcast. Welcome back to a new episode. Please visit www.spiritualinspired.ca for more episodes. Like any of them that you like, and leave a comment. And you can also support us by making a donation at that website, spiritualinspired.ca. My guest today is Rachel Corpus. She's a channeler, medium, and teacher. Thank you for accepting my invitation.
Well, thank you for inviting me and for sharing some time with me today.
And Rachel, I realize that we have at least one thing in common. We both started our podcast in 2020.
Oh, yes. Well, welcome to the journey. How's it
Yes,
been for you?
very interesting, challenging. I learn a lot every time I meet someone like you, full of light and love. So that gives me the strength and the energy to move forward.
That's lovely. I'm so happy to hear that. I feel that my experience has been very much the same. Learning every day, aren't we?
Yes, indeed. And
Mhm.
I want to ask you, what angel or spirit did you find at the foot of your bed when you woke up this morning?
Oh, this very morning?
Yes.
Well, I can't say that it was a spirit this morning, but it was my son Sam needing money to go to the amusement park. So I didn't have the most spiritual morning. I had more of a human morning this morning, to be honest.
Yes, and I know that due to certain circumstances, society and family, when you're in grade five, and you had to kind of shut down and told spirit to go away, was anything lost in the period that followed until you got it back much later in life?
That's an interesting question. I don't know that anything was truly lost. It was, I would say, folded into me to the degree that I didn't know it was there any longer. I'm aware that my angels throughout my life gave me clues that I could choose to see or ignore that helped me remember that I was gifted. For example, I could still see angels throughout my life. And I knew that, especially around the Christmas holiday. And that felt good at Christmas. But then when Christmas was over, I'd say, all right, that's enough of that. And certainly around Halloween season, I could feel the uptick in paranormal activity coming up. And then I would say, all right, that's enough of that. So I wouldn't say I lost anything. It was all my choice, for sure. When I had made the decision to let it come back, that's when the decision to create the process and the work came into play, because I wouldn't say it was kind of tapped back into me and, oh, there it is. That's when I sought out my own therapy, my own shadow work, and my own ways of practicing how to bring my gifts into this current form. Because in other lifetimes or in parallel versions of me, well, maybe I'm a very gifted medium there, but when I said yes to my gifts, I hadn't done that professionally yet here. So I didn't feel like I could step in and just start doing that. So I did practice. I feel that was needed. So, yeah.
Yes, thank you. And by mentioning grade fifth, I gave a hint to the audience that you realized your gifts at an early age, and then, as I mentioned, you had to shut down. So for those which are in your shoes and they realize early in life, for the parents who realize that they have gifted children, what do you suggest? I mean, for you, it was kind of traumatic to shut down and not be able to show your full potential and who you really are. So what your advice is?
I think kids are coming in differently these days. They're coming in gifted and kind of mouthy about it. They don't hold back. And I believe parents are parenting differently too. I believe that the relationship between most children and parents, or whoever's raising them, whether that's aunties or grandparents or the full tribe, seems like communication is getting better anyway. But I would say my advice as a spiritual mama, and also what I'm hearing from my angel self and from the guides, is keep the dialogue open without judgment. And you can certainly ask about their experiences without saying, oh, that's so scary. Oh, are you okay? You don't have to escalate the sense of fear. You can just say, oh, that's interesting. Tell me more. And depending on what their age is, you could say, well, could you draw it? Could you show me with your, could you draw it, show me with your arms? How did it make you feel? So I just, am feeling that things are changing anyway in the spiritual world, in this 3D world, with the spirit world coming back in, and we're awakening. That evolution seems to be happening anyway, and just embracing our children as they are more verbal about what they experience. It'll be different because it just is, I think, my friend, it just is.
Yes, and my kids are grown-ups, pretty much grown-ups right now. But I encourage, when I come in contact with parents with young children, or really like newborns, I tell them, even if they think I'm crazy, I tell them to watch them, to encourage what they are doing. Even maybe homeschool them if possible, so they don't get brainwashed in our regular school system, or by our regular school system. So I'm doing everything I can to tell these parents, you have to behave differently than how your parents behaved with you.
Right, because our current children, they're here to create a different structure, and the parents have one foot in experiencing the structure that exists and walking their kids through their children's experience of breaking the structure that exists so they can build something new. So this is a hard job for current parents, because they're going to be holding space for the rule breakers. We have Archangel Azrael who comes in to support all of this. We've got Gabriel, we've got Azrael, we've got Raphael. These are the three main cheerleaders that are going to be guiding this, because this generation, they're the deconstructors, and then they're the builders. This is really big. And so they're not doing it without help. They are angels in body, just like me. This may be a conversation that people are saying, well, how can she be in a human body and be an angel? Well, it just is. It just is, people. It just is. I don't have all the answers. It just is. Some people are star seeds. That's lovely. They're from another planet. And the children that are here, that is going to be like, no big deal. It's a Tuesday. I'm an angel. I'm a starseed, because this is how we evolve. Love is coming back. And even though that sounds magical, where that this person's an angel, this person's a starseed, it's no big thing, because we're just coming back into the oneness. And that oneness is like a big sparkly ball of all these different facets and colors, but it's just one big ball. Right?
Yes, indeed.
And these kids are our kids, your kids, my kids, their kids, although they better not do it too soon. No grandkids yet in my house. Their kids are going to come in to teach us that oneness again. They're bringing that back. Fabulous.
Perfect. And have you discovered any psychic abilities into Olivia or the other two kids?
Absolutely. See, I have this this, I'm an angel, but I'm a mama. And so sometimes they're like, just be our mom. I was like, who do you want me to be right now? But I guess what I want to say is, I can't push it. I can't push it with them. Because at some ages, well, what are you going to be when you want to grow up? I don't know, Mom. Don't ask me. I'm playing video games. And then other moments, well, I'm going to be a TikTok star, or I'm going to be a pediatrician, or I'm going to be a vet. I'm going to be a rock star. They don't know. So, and anything that I do is probably not cool anyway, because I'm mom. So who knows? But yes, they're so gifted. What about your kids? Do you notice that in them?
No, nothing yet. I mean, the older one is 25 years young, and the younger one is 20. I think the
Huh?
younger one is much more prone to certain sensibilities. They both listen to my crazy talk, and from time to time they listen to my podcasts. And I get support. I mean, they see that I don't give up easily. And after 4 years, I'm still going strong, and the interviews are getting better, and they are helping me with some design and feedback on how I handle my guests. And I'm very proud that they do that, and about their involvement. And I was told that at one point they will come around on their own terms when the time is right, and they will be welcomed into the spiritual community.
Yes, because they get to be spiritual in their own way, whatever
Exactly.
they call it.
Yeah. So, Rachel, because we are talking about angels and ascended masters, which you might work with, I want to touch the subject of Yeshua, and it is my conviction that people in the spiritual community are doing more work with and get more help from Yeshua than those that go to the church on Sunday. What's your take on that?
Hmm. That's a that is a beautiful question, because it feels, when I allow myself to move out and feel and see what's happening in the world, there's this beautiful feeling that the relationship with people's ascended masters who they connect to, it's no longer this sense of put them on a pedestal and wait and listen for the sage wisdom. It feels like this friendship. And so it feels like the old model of going to church and learning about Jesus in the clothes that were unstained, in the Caucasian body, standing still and serene, separate from the people. That may be the religious model, but that I'm not seeing a lot of people resonating with that. I'm seeing a more personal relationship with this energy version of the Yeshua. And it has this gritty, magical feeling to it. And it's going out. It's going out to all the people. And that Yeshua sometimes switches to the Buddha or to Kuan Yin, to other ascended masters, as if it's all the same ascended master, but it will change to whomever needs to see it. And that seems to be part of the same evolution that we were talking about with the children. It's the model that's changing. It no longer serves us to feel that we're separate from that power that we believe may have created us. We don't need an overseer or a parent. We don't need that. We're ready to recollaborate, to go back in, weave together. That's what I'm feeling and hearing.
Yes, and every movie depicting Yeshua and his disciples shows him close to people, talking to any social class, no matter the label. So I think even if we watch the movie, somehow we moved away from that concept of closeness, as you said, with
Yes.
his spirit and his teachings.
And even with the spirit in our body, the Yeshua spirit in our body, that it's outside of us, and we all have that Christ light, that Yeshua spirit right in our body. It burns in us. It's our chi spirit. And we're starting to remember, all of us, that is part of us. You know, we're just a costume. We're just like animatronics. We're nothing. And then we have that spirit in us, and that's the Yeshua spirit. We're starting to remember that too. And that's really the real lesson, is that we've all come here looking like the same beam of light, or the same love inside, but we decided, well, as we experience that, I'll look like this, you look like that. And that's the kind of the microcosm of that lesson you were just talking about. We're the Christ light inside. And so when I do my work as an angel in a human body, I'm a messenger. That's one of the messages I'm here to share. That we are not separate from each other. We're not separate from God.
Yes, and to go a little bit deeper, people say Jesus, they don't say Yeshua, they say Jesus. So Yeshua is my Lord and Savior, and I will add to that, and my brother. And that, I think, will make that connection even closer, and will give us that familiarity of getting closer to the Father, to the divine.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Rachel, do you connect with galactic beings and communicate to them? And if yes, what are you talking about?
Well, I am a connector to all galactic angelic beings in the quantum. And so that can be many types of beings, and some of them are what we might consider extraterrestrial. And my peeps, my team, call themselves Sarai, and they are a council of galactic beings that feel rather female, although sometimes they'll bring in a larger council, and they are just kind of there's a bit of Sarai that is kind of a moving chair of people or councils that they'll bring in. So they might be Andromedan or Pleiadian or Lyran, depends on who's needed in that kind of advisory seat. And the rest of them remain kind of the same, and they're tall blue beings. And sometimes when they send a messenger to this vibrational frequency, this earth frequency, it'll look more like a gray. But they've visited me my whole life. And yes, they are Sarai, so I work with them quite a bit.
And because you are an angel, does it mean that you don't have a galactic family, like Syrians, Pleiadians, Andromedans?
Correct. No, my origin goes to the Seraphim realm, so they are my community.
And did you figure out if this is your first incarnation as an angel, or you had multiple ones in the past?
I've always been angelic in my core, and this is my 7th Earth incarnation, the 7th time I've been here.
Nice.
Yeah.
And do you expect to come back again? Did they give you that message, or your mission will be done at the end of this cycle?
I believe I'm coming back. And that makes me laugh, because if you asked just the Rachel version, I'd say, no, I don't want to come back here. I'm tired. Can't you see I'm tired? I don't want to come. No. Or could you tell me what the price of gas is going to be like, or climate change? Who's going to be president? I want to know all those things.
And you want to make your bets now.
Yeah, I know.
No, but you're gonna come back on the 5D version.
Self.
Yeah,
I know. Oh.
It's fun.
But yeah, I think I'm coming back.
And when you travel through multiple or the multiverse of parallel realities, do you use your light body for traveling?
Yes. Yes. Sometimes I can feel my physical body shift frequency so much that I feel like I'm coming off the bed. I don't know if I really am or not, but it feels like I'm humming off the bed, but it is my astral or my light body that's moving out. Mhm.
And how far in the universe have you traveled so far?
Oh gosh. I don't know how to answer that. I've been back home to the heavenly realm quite a bit. I go there, I mean, daily. Because this is really this, even though this is the place I visit, really. I'm really back home now, doing an interview here, and seeing clients here. It's really kind of a weird concept. I frequently go to the Akashic Records. That's kind of a work trip. Personal trips, I have access to all my other parallels. I mean, that's I guess far travel. I can travel in my map this way and go into what we used to call the past lifetimes, but the other versions of me, and they're located here in the quantum. And then kind of up here and here, that's when I can go to the other galaxies. And that feels, I guess we could say, far, but it's all kind of like a shape of a walnut. But I can also keep it kind of in my, it's all here. It's accessible right here, like the shape of a pendant right here. It's no bigger than a walnut. The whole thing is no bigger than a walnut.
Wow.
It's right here.
So,
but that's where it's a map.
So in other words, you travel for both business and pleasure.
Yes. And usually it's kind of both. And I mean, luckily I don't work a day in my life because it's all fun, but it's like, have you ever found one of those little plastic balls that gets really small and then you can stretch it like this?
Yes.
That's what it looks like. But plasma. It's like plasma, but every time I pull it out, it looks exactly the same. And then once in a while, I'll pull it out, and I think the Palladians have been busy because there's going to be a new string. Mm-hmm. So they've created something, they've seeded a planet or something, and it's ready. It's got inhabitants. I won't be able to see it if it only has a little bit of growth, if it's not ready for an angelic visit, or it just has every place that has growth has an angel assigned to it. But I won't need to go visit or have any reason to visit if there's no people there, because I work with people. But that's how I get in there. It reminds me of 1980s cartoons where they'd have some medallion or something here and they'd say, go, go, go.
Yeah, very interesting.
It's very like sci-fi. Well, you write sci-fi, don't you?
Yes.
I had a dream of you writing sci-fi by hand. Do you write your books by hand?
Always.
Do you really?
Yes, I have binders, notebooks for each, 3 or 4 notebooks for each novel I write. Yeah, I cannot write directly on the computer. I can do edits on the computer, but not the initial draft. The initial draft has to be by hand.
Shut up. I had this dream where you were at the top of this castle, this tower, and the tower was made of like this stone that would look like metal. It kept shimmering. And you had this, it looked like Harry Potter, but it was all crystalline. And then you were sitting at this desk and you had this goblet of like purple goo. I don't know what that was about. And you had your head in your hand and you were smiling and you were scribbling. And I was looking at that and you're saying, it's not done yet. It's not done yet. My handwriting is messy because I want to get this done. And I was like, why don't you just type it? And you said, no, never, always handwritten. And I was like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
I have a
interview
joke.
was there.
Yeah, I have a joke with my fellow writers. I say, you guys write everything on your computer. When I'm going to be famous, I can auction my manuscripts and make more money. You cannot auction your laptop, you know? So,
Well, you wouldn't let me see it. Not
eh,
yet.
yeah. I was told that in a previous life, I was a monk and I was either writing books or copying existing books.
Okay, well, I wonder if that was the goblet of something. Maybe you was like you stole communion wine or something. I don't know. I don't know. But you were doing something and it was a tall tower. It looked like it maybe it was like shiny because it was raining or something and there was lightning. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a short story or I work on a novel, has to be handwritten. I just cannot, my mind doesn't function like that because I go back on the notebook and start making notes vertically, horizontally. I draw lines. I insert things, new ideas that come to me while I'm reading what I wrote on the previous day. So I cannot do that on the computer. I mean, it kind of limits my creativity and
See that?
imagination.
Yeah, that makes sense. Huh.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thanks for hearing it.
Rachel, do you have the perception that Earth is splitting into multiple versions of itself? And are there any glass walls between these realities?
Yes, always splitting. We're always creating timelines. And by we, I mean we as individuals are always creating our own timelines. So you could look at it as the earth as a whole being. The earth is creating her own timeline as a consciousness. Okay. So yes, the earth is splitting as physical, and each being on her is creating their own timeline. All of that together energetically is creating a physical matter change in the Earth's atmosphere. So it's actually jiggling the Earth. The Earth's Schumann resonance, that heartbeat of the dance, the heartbeat, the passion of the Earth is shifting. And so the angels are saying we're now experiencing the Earth expressing herself physically and metaphysically. And so, yes, you're experiencing many versions of the Earth, and they show the Earth almost like it's one of the Russian nesting dolls, but they're pulling her out this way. But as they do this, the ones that go out this way become transparent over here. So this will still be the core version. And they're saying, if you're hearing this from a spiritual sense, this is the one. This will still be the core. These won't be better. These aren't better over here. This is the place you still have to do the work. This is causing a split because we're in discord here. There's not a split over here because these are better. This is splitting because they're discord. What needs to happen is we need to keep raising our frequency so each one of us here can experience a fifth dimensional experience. People are thinking that we're going to go into 3D and there's going to be this bloop, new experience. What's going to happen and what is happening is individual people are shifting their own selves, their own experience, their own atmosphere around them. Moment to moment, they're going into the fifth dimension and sixth and seventh. So instead of noticing a big physical, everybody changes at once, or we're going to be rehomed to a new place, the angels are saying every person at every moment has a chance to go into the fifth dimension, and that's more reasonable. That's the reasonable perspective. Does this make sense?
Yes, and in continuation to what you said, while we are moving towards the fifth dimension, let's say to the fifth first before we go to the next one, And because we are right now in the middle of the 12,000 year cycle where Earth is going through major changes, the sun is at the peak of solar maximum, the
Yes.
geomagnetic field is weakening. So is those transitioning in the fifth dimension going to perceive and feel these changes which will happen at the 3D level during this 12,000 year cycle?
Will they feel it?
And see it.
Feel it and see it in their lifespan, you're asking?
Yes.
Yes, some of them are beginning to feel it now as an aura. They're starting to feel it now. All I'm hearing is yes, and that instead of it being it's going to be a gradual. It's like it's going into the body gradually. I'm not sure if I understand that response from them, but that's what I hear.
Okay. So in other words, if I understand correctly, no matter at what level of vibration and energy we might be in 5D, we're going to still see the physical changes of Mother Earth while in this lifetime. And we have to be ready. And maybe we're going to take these changes lighter just because we are mentally, physically, emotionally prepared.
Yes, we have to still do the work and be ready for these changes, and they're going to guide us through it for sure.
Thank you. So, Rachel, do you interact with plant spirits as well?
Not typically. When I meditate, I can sometimes feel the vibration of the land and the roots of the trees around me. I find that as an angel in body, I typically am more connected to the top than I am the bottom. So if there are listeners that are resonating with my story, that they feel that they're angel in body, a recommendation I have is find practices to get your shoes and socks off and get your grounding in, get your feet in the soil. And if you're really tender in your body, because a lot of people who identify as earth angels or angel incarnate like me, even grounding can be sensitive. So you might soak in a warm tub, but something that helps you ground. So yes, even though sometimes I can sense it's more like a feeling of love, or you walk out of the house and the trees that you grew up around might feel as if they say good morning to you in their own special consciousness way. They greet you. That's about all that I notice from them, because it's not my gift. I do have opportunities where when I'm helping someone bless their house or clear their land, I do have indigenous people that are still walking the land come over and tell me information that is connected to the land. So for instance, if there is a group of people that were pushed off their land, they'll tell me that the soil remembers, and I'll be able to talk to the soil and tell them that I'm sorry on behalf of the person that did it, or ask for forgiveness, whatever is needed in that moment. And the only other thing that I'd like to say here before we move forward is that I'm just feeling this amazing sense of love from Mother Earth, as if to say, we forgot that we can talk to her. We do a really beautiful job of thinking kind of sideways. We talk to each other really well, and we're doing a fair job looking kind of up. We talk to, our angels, guides, God. But Mother Earth is saying, don't forget, you can look at me too. Look at the flowers in the dirt. I'm here. And the fairies, etc. We're all here. So that I just feel this really loving invitation that you've got me, I support you. And I would just want to share that with the listeners. That feels really nice.
Thank you. And because you mentioned indigenous people and earth trauma, do you think that this trauma will be resolved anytime soon? I mean, they were, as you mentioned, pushed out of their ancestral lands. They didn't have any conception about owning a piece of land with a title. It was there for them to take care of it. And suddenly they live in reserves in very poor conditions. And that's huge trauma, and it was done in purpose. So do you think that this will be resolved anytime soon?
Are you asking me spiritually according
Yes,
to the land?
spiritually, yes.
I'm hearing Archangel Azrael, who very often advises me about matters of great change, especially when they require, he'll call it scorched earth. And between us, he'll say scorched earth situations. That's his signal that we're going deep. This is either going to kill us or make us stronger, Rachel. That's when he says scorched earth. That's like, it's go time, girl. And he says, if it's going to heal, we have to go scorched earth. And then I see Archangel Gabriel coming in. So that means brave communication. Because they're telling me that even though, they're saying because the people are still getting pushed off their land, happening around the world. That's why it's not being healed. That's why the land is not healed. We're still perpetuating that violence and injustice on each other on earth. And that's why the land still cries. They're saying, they are telling me it's not that we are not healed. And the great mother, she says, child, we are healed. We are not carrying the burden. We are holding space for the healing. The people who walk the earth are holding, she's holding like stinky, sticky mud, holding the barrier between the healing themselves and the healing of this land, because they perpetuate the stink. And then she shows me a great, great flood. And she says, this flood, this is the tears. If they would let themselves cry and be real and forgive each other, the land could get its drink. But no one is safe enough to do it. No one is safe enough to listen and speak. The children will help get you there. So we are not stuck. We're waiting, she says.
Interesting. And I think the indigenous people have a different level of forgiveness because they have a different level of understanding Mother Earth. But what I think, again, this is my personal opinion, they are not willing to give in moving forward, and they want to start standing up to the injustices the governments are doing against them. And I think they kind of drew the line in the sand and said, enough, it's enough. We have to start healing. You cannot do this to us anymore, because our sanity and our culture is at risk at this point. And
Yes.
even if, let's say, the masses, we the people, are in agreement to that approach, unfortunately, those at the top still don't listen. They are in their own bubble. And again, in my opinion, only a radical move can burst that bubble and make them come back to a little bit of reality. Otherwise, they have to be somehow removed.
Well, we'll see what happens. I do know that in the angels' forecast that they give me in the next 5, 10 years, 20 years, we're looking at a topple over of the current political system in America, where instead of Republican, Democrat, liberal, those will go away. We will have a falling of the current government and a rebuilding that I'm sure will be difficult to get to. I'm sure. The outcome, however, brings our country to equality and peace that we have never seen before. And they show me a map that looks the same as what it is today, but it's labeled a little bit differently. And the feeling of it is the people who, it's all choice. So free will is so honored here. So let's say you identify, I even see one that's like for New Earth, people who believe in the New Earth movement. They create one New Earth movement. And there's like, I think 12 or 13 different political groups. There's quite a few of them. If you believe in the New Earth movement, that's a part of the country that you live in. And no one tells you that you have to live there. That's where you choose to go. And then if you believe in more conservative and you want to fly the Confederate flag, there is absolutely no judgment in that. This is where you live. And you can cross those boundaries all the time. You can go shop, you can go buy things. It's peace because the dollar is equal. That's what they show me. Sorry, that was kind of messy because it was stream of consciousness, but and there's some things I can't see. I don't see if there's one person in charge. I can't see that. So I don't know if that means it hasn't been decided yet or what.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And I think people have to understand that governments are nothing but corporations who want to keep their grab on power and influence. And they overreach their purpose. That's the main issue. And you mentioned climate change. If I have to ask any politician or climate activist, what's the biggest factor in polluting our earth and our atmosphere, they won't know, or they will give me some made up answer. And the right answer is war. War creates the most disturbance in our society, in our climate, because the army moves a huge amount of vehicles and equipment and human resources all over the world, plus the bombs and everything else they use. So if we eliminate war, that means we eliminate the stress on Mother Earth, we eliminate the stress on our resources, on our own psyche, but that's not a course these people at the top want to pursue.
Darling, because they create the wars, their agreements, their plays. And that breaks my heart, but there are some things that I know as an angel who's in a body. I have some information that I can see psychically that I wish I didn't know, but I do, and I don't always know why I know it. So I've really had to work on knowing some things and then processing them and then going about my day. That's one of the things I know, that my angels always say it this way to me. There's always another way. There's always another choice. There is always another choice. There is no need for war. There's always another choice.
Yes.
And I hear that from angels. Have very specific voices. And they talk to us. They talk to everyone. And sometimes they use the timbre of the sound of our voice. And then sometimes they use a different voice that is still familiar, but you'll know it's not someone in the room, and it's not someone in your head, but it's right here. It'll happen to everybody at some point in their life, and that's your angel. But shit, I forgot what I was saying.
No problem. We
Two
can.
things talking to me.
So, you know what? I never had someone, a guest, who publicly accepted that he or she is an angel. So I never asked this question before. So comparing, and again, it's just my curiosity, okay? I don't want to draw any boundaries or any energetic boundary or spiritual boundaries in any way. So in terms of Yeshua as a highly advanced master in spirit and an angel, I assume that only an angel can go to the next level, which is Yeshua's level, and not the other way around. Can you please clarify that for me, please?
Well, I have a long way to go before I get to Yeshua.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm Seraphim. I'm of the Seraphim rank, which is pretty high, but we're not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to be ranked. And that really is true. That's my human side coming through, because on the other side, whether we're talking about any type of being, everyone's equal, which is really great. And that's my Rachel heart too. I brought that in with me, which I love. But being here on Earth, we really do think about like rank. So you're the manager, you're the supervisor. The angels don't work that way. So at the Yeshua level, that's more to do with the amount of, I'm just going to let my face might look funny for a minute because I'm accessing some data. And it's above my right eye. You can kind of see it right here. It makes my eye stop. I almost look like an animatronic for a minute. So to get to that level, it's more about the amount of life experiences that the Yeshua has experienced and how that's been integrated. And he has taken part in what he'll call pocket dimensions. So lifetimes within lifetimes. It's almost like if you've ever had a dream, and in that dream you have a dream and you know you're dreaming. Yeshua, that guy, he can do that. So he can also do, okay, I'm reading this book. Hold on. Oh, I'm going to read a chapter out of this book. Oh, what movie are you watching? That's cool. Well, let me watch that while I read this book and this book. Oh, he's getting it all at once. Yeshua, that guy. So he's very absorbent. I don't learn that way.
Interesting. And are you allowed through your service, future service, to get to the next level, slowly and slowly approaching farther that level?
Yes, if I wish to, I can ask to begin that. Yes. And then whatever I have learned, I basically go through a life review of everything that I've gone through, learned in any of my missions or incarnations. And then they'll go they'll go to council, which includes anyone that they want to ask that has played a part in my other lifetime. So anyone that's been maybe my mom or dad or my spouse can come through and answer questions that they have about me. It's kind of scary to think about, right? Ask questions about my ethics, what I've learned, how did I handle it? Basically, is she ready? And if not, they'll design a plan to get me ready. It's never a no. You always get to move up, always. It's the angelic realm. What are they going to do? Like, send you to the mailroom? I mean, but the bad side, what are they going to do? Like, oh, Lucifer, we got another one for you. I mean,
So you have a performance review. This is what you are having.
Pretty much.
Yeah, okay, you can put my name down for reference if you want to, you know. Even if I'm not at that level.
They can be kind of, well, they can be tough, but they love you. It reminds me of the scene in Sound of Music when they're the very first, how do you solve a problem like Maria? That all bit when they're talking to her about how she needs to buckle down. Every time I get lectures, I'm like, I'm thousands of years old. Please don't, please don't, please don't. But it's the same. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. It's fine. And then if you need more support or coaching, they will usually recommend that you have another lifetime or two. And it's not always Earth. It can be other places. It depends if it's like trauma related stuff, it's going to be Earth. If it's not, it can be someplace else. Or you go to the next level, and there's lots of levels you can go to. It's not always ascended master level.
Interesting. And is Earth the only planet, like the unique planet in the universe or galaxy, as they or some sources mention?
What do you mean by that?
Like 3D, duality based, very
no. No, there's Zenith. There's a planet called Zenith, which is a lot like Earth. There's just a few differences about how the humanoids developed. So people look a little different. And there's the concept of what the parallels. Everybody has parallels, so we have that idea. But you know, those are the two that are really resonating right now, and they call it Zenith.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Any other message the spiritual realm would like to share with us today?
I love that question. Let me just listen and feel for that answer. A reminder to the listeners from your angels and your galactic guides. They'd like to say, be open to having both of us, please. Because the extraterrestrials, we are loving and we are back. Because it's time for us to elevate you. You're ready. And we want to remind you that when your ears are ringing, that's all of us. We are helping you to get back to your original frequency, which is the frequency of love. So when your ears ring, you're around something that is pulling you down, and we're pulling you back up, 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 up. And we are putting peace in your body right now. Message sent.
Thank you. All I can say is pick me, you know.
Yes, yes, yes.
Rachel, I would like to touch on your programs and what you offer and how people can contact you.
Well, thank you. I love to help people connect to their angels, to give them insight about their lives, whether that is about, well, any subject in their lives, or past lifetimes, etc., future. And we can do a little connecting to the other side if they like. So I see people in person if they live near the Des Moines area, Des Moines, Iowa, or on Zoom. And to request a session, just go to my website, which is rachelcorpus.com. I do teach classes online, and you can find those as well on my website. And, you know, all the Facebook and stuff, all of that's there, you know, the stuff. Oh, and my favorite thing, I have a podcast.
Yes.
Angel Talk on the Mind Body Spirit FM network, or wherever you get your podcasts. It's called Angel Talk. And we talk about all this goodness, all this good stuff like you do.
Yes, thank you.
It's a good life, right?
Yes. So even angels have podcasts, you know?
Yes. Yes, we do. Keeps us busy.
Exactly. So, Rachel, we're approaching the end of the interview. Any final thoughts?
Just so grateful to meet you. And I'm really excited to dig into one of your books. Excited.
You
Nice
will
to
have
meet
them all very soon.
Excited. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All the best. And to my viewers, thank you for watching. Like it, leave a comment, visit spiritualinspired.ca. And until next time, love and gratitude.